Imagine falling asleep and returning to a place you have seen many times before. A city, a house, a school, a long road that stretches toward the horizon. You recognize the buildings. You know which streets lead to the center of town. You remember where certain doors are located. But this place does not exist in waking life. It only appears when you dream. Some people experience something even stranger. They return to the same dream environment over months or even years. Each time, the place feels more familiar, more detailed, almost as if it has its own geography. Sometimes people describe these dream environments as feeling more vivid or emotionally powerful than ordinary waking experiences. This raises a fascinating question. Why can recurring dream worlds sometimes feel more real than waking life? Is the brain simulating experiences with unusual intensity? Is memory reinforcing the environment each time the dream returns? Or does the sleeping brain process perception differently from the waking brain? Today we will explore what modern science says about recurring dream worlds. We will examine how the brain constructs dream environments, why some dream places repeat across many nights, how emotional processing intensifies dream experiences, why perception during dreams can feel extremely vivid, how memory systems strengthen recurring dream locations. The goal is not to claim that dream worlds exist outside the mind. Instead, we will explore how the brain can create experiences so convincing that they sometimes feel indistinguishable from reality. Because the sleeping brain is not inactive. In many ways, it is doing something remarkably complex. The brain continues building reality during sleep. When people think about sleep, they often imagine the brain shutting down. But neuroscience shows the opposite is true. During certain stages of sleep, the brain remains highly active. One of the most important stages is known as REM sleep. During REM sleep, brain activity increases, vivid dreams become more common, emotional processing intensifies. Brain imaging studies show that many sensory and emotional regions remain highly active during this stage. Interestingly, some parts of the brain involved in rational control become less active. One example is the prefrontal cortex. This shift in activity changes how experiences are constructed. Without strong logical filtering, the brain can generate highly immersive simulations. These simulations often take the form of dream environments, the brain's spatial mapping system. One reason recurring dream worlds can feel stable is that the brain contains systems specifically designed to map environments. A key structure involved in this process is the hippocampus. The hippocampus plays an essential role in spatial memory navigation, forming cognitive maps of environments. Inside this structure are neurons called place cells. These cells activate when a person occupies specific locations. Another group of neurons called grid cells helps track movement across space. Together, these systems allow the brain to construct detailed internal maps. These maps are normally used to navigate real environments, but the same systems can also operate during imagination and dreams, which means the brain can construct entire dream landscapes using the same neural architecture that maps real cities. Why some dream worlds recur. Most dreams are fragmented and quickly forgotten, but some dream environments return repeatedly. Psychologists believe this may occur when the brain repeatedly reconstructs the same spatial model. Each time the dream appears, the neural representation becomes slightly stronger. Over time, the brain may develop a stable internal map of that environment. This creates the impression of a persistent dream world. But in reality, the brain is rebuilding the environment each time. It simply becomes more consistent with repetition. Emotion makes dreams more intense. Another reason dream worlds can feel more real than waking life involves emotional processing. During REM sleep, emotional brain regions, such as the amygdala, become highly active. The amygdala plays a major role in fear responses, emotional memory threat detection, because emotional systems are highly active during dreams. Experiences can feel extremely intense. Even simple environments may feel dramatic or meaningful. This emotional amplification can make dream worlds feel more vivid than ordinary waking experiences. The brain reduces sensory competition when you are awake. Your brain processes enormous amounts of sensory information, vision, sound, touch, movement. All of these signals compete for attention. During sleep, external sensory input decreases dramatically. This allows internally generated imagery to dominate perception. Without competition from external stimuli, dream imagery may appear unusually vivid. The brain's internally generated environment becomes the primary reality during the dream. Memory reinforcement and familiarity. Another reason recurring dream worlds can feel real is familiarity. In everyday life, familiar places feel stable and predictable. The same process occurs with dream environments. Each time the brain reconstructs the same dream location, memory connections strengthen. This can create a powerful sense of recognition. The environment begins to feel like a real place with a history, even though it exists only in dream simulations. Why dreams can feel like continuing stories. Some recurring dream environments feel like ongoing narratives. People may feel as though they are returning to a place where events happened previously. This may occur because the brain links dream memories across different nights. When the same environment reappears, the brain retrieves earlier dream fragments associated with that location. This creates the sense of continuity. The dream world appears to have a past, but this past is actually reconstructed from previous dream memories. The role of imagination. The brain systems used in dreaming overlap strongly with those used for imagination. When people imagine fictional worlds, their brains activate similar networks involved in spatial memory and visualization. This means the brain has the capacity to create extremely detailed imagined environments during dreams. This creative capacity operates without conscious control. As a result, the brain may generate environments that feel surprisingly coherent and immersive. Why dream reality can feel convincing when we are awake. The brain constantly evaluates whether experiences are real. This process involves higher-level reasoning systems in the prefrontal cortex. During REM sleep, these systems are less active. This reduces the brain's ability to question the reality of the experience. As a result, dream environments may be accepted as real while the dream is occurring. Only after waking does the brain reevaluate the experience. What science does not support, because recurring dream worlds can feel extremely vivid. Some interpretations suggest that they represent alternate realities, shared dream dimensions, memories from other lives. However, there is currently no scientific evidence supporting these explanations. The available evidence suggests that recurring dream worlds arise from spatial memory systems, emotional processing, imagination, memory reinforcement during sleep. These processes are sufficient to explain how complex dream environments can feel real. Conclusion: the mind's ability to create worlds. The human brain is one of the most powerful simulation systems known. Even during sleep, it continues building experiences. When spatial memory, emotion, and imagination combine, the result can be a dream environment that feels stable and immersive. If the same environment appears repeatedly, the brain strengthens its internal representation. Over time, the place may feel like a real world that you revisit. But this world does not exist outside the mind. It exists within the brain's extraordinary capacity to simulate reality. And in doing so, dreams reveal something remarkable. Even when the body is asleep, the mind can create entire worlds that feel real enough to explore.